Hola, mi amigo, ¿cómo estás? We're doing this completely in Spanish. Kidding. Welcome to Iffy's Reviews. Rue's not here, okay, but we're still keeping it for real, for real. I'm Ifoma, aka Iffy, and I'm joined by.
Dell, aka Smelly Dell.
Oh, yes. And listen, Days Before Dreamboy by Lil Nas X is the album we are deep diving and reviewing today. Lil Nas X is a rapper and singer coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, and he's best known for his song Old Town Road, which dominated charts. Oh my goodness. His last official album was released in 2021, so that's like 4 years ago, and it was Montero. In between, he's had a lot of singles and collabs, but never an official project up until now. So people were pretty keen to see what he's done this time around, and we've had a listen. Del, would you like to share your overall thoughts? I actually don't
Yes.
know. I'm intrigued, so
Okay.
I'm gonna be listening.
So apparently there's a big amount of lore behind this project.
Share it.
So it's a prelude album or EP to an album called Dreamboy, which is coming in October. And apparently some of the songs have been on SoundCloud for over a year. So now it's in EP or album form with this one. Does that make
It makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes
so-
sense. So
and-
these have been out.
They've been out.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Listen, I didn't do. I'm not a researcher like Rue. I'm glad that Del's here because I would not have known any of this.
Yeah, so like they've been out on SoundCloud for a while, and apparently there's like label spats and stuff like that, or
This is crazy.
yeah, or like something has happened where like and like people are saying he's flopping, but no, he's not. He's not.
Well,
Did I speak too soon? But
we
that's
might-
like the
okay.
general consensus or like the general vibe of like what's going on amongst the fan base. And so when I went into this, I was like, yeah, fun. But then I dug deeper into what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what's this about?
What
you know what I
is
mean?
this about?
So anyway, all of that aside, as an outsider to, all of that, I did enjoy it. I think you can kind of hear Lil Nas X take some sonic risks a little bit.
Yeah.
Whether that be, through production or vocally, and his lyricism is always like constantly brash and totally like Lil Nas X, which is what we love Lil Nas X for.
Yeah.
But what's your overall take on it?
I feel like it's gonna be quite different to us.
Tell me, we like that.
Listen, I just feel like he tried to do everything and shove it into 8 songs on one album. And like with this context now, it makes sense because I was confused. I was like, why is it called an album and it's 8 songs? I was like, you should have called this an EP at the end of the day because
yeah.
it pissed me off. It annoyed me. If you know my law, like I don't stand for that. Like no, don't do that. But yeah, I agree. Like I think he took risks. I don't know how they landed. Some landed really well. And like I started off initially kind of saying he's trying to replicate and hit like an early 2000s 90s R&B sound. But then like as I went through the project, that kept changing and fluctuating for me because like it was very up and down and I don't know how to feel about it. I think it's a really fun album though. Like at some points I was fighting for my life because I couldn't stop dancing. Oh no, like that's not even a lie. Like some songs really bang. But like it would go from like 100 to like 20.
Yeah.
And like I was like, that consistency is not there. So those are my overall thoughts. I want to hear your pros.
I think in a different sense, I kind of like, you know what, you're so right. He is trying to do a lot in 8 songs, and I think it can come off a little bit performative or a little bit like or just like a little bit like money grabby given the context of like the label stuff and everything going on, you know what I mean? So I do understand that, but I will applaud him for taking a chance on a change, if that makes sense. Like I think for a while people have seen Lil Nas X as like a gimmicky kind of artist, and I think he has played into that, but I do think on this album he's trying to clean his slate, which I can appreciate.
I do see that. I do see that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. That took a while. Sorry. Like, whew. Okay. I do see that. I don't know. Like, I mean, we'll get into it and like my because I saw it in like a very different way to you, and that goes into my cons, which we'll get into. But we're on a positive note here, and I do only have one pro, and it's that it's just a really fun project, and a lot of the hooks in the song were really catchy, especially the one on Light Again. I really love that song. Oh my god, it's a fun song.
Yeah.
Holy crap. But yeah, I think it's just a great project to like vibe to and to dance to, and like a good one for when you're getting ready or you're like about to go out drinking and like you're I don't know, I think it's just a good project for good vibes, but I could not deep it. Like that's a con. That's a con. We're in pros, we're in pros, we're in pros. I mean, well, I'll keep it positive. I did have as I said, some standouts. Light Again, the hook, it got me really good. That hook got me so good, and then the ending, I was duck walking, I was voguing. It had me in a chokehold. I couldn't stop dancing. I really loved that song, and that's it. Sorry, sorry, Mr. X. But what did you have like songs that really like spoke to you?
I think Light Again as well, for the same reason. I like Dreamboy. I feel like it was really like Three Stacks influenced, almost maybe too much.
Yeah.
Almost like, okay, maybe ripping him off a bit. But like I appreciate him wanting to go down that direction and try a different kind of vocal delivery. Need That Boy was really fun as well. Him on a garage beat is always fun. And Lean on My Body, I think just to tie the whole album together was really fun. It had some gospel kind of like sing-along parts in the track.
Yeah.
Just kind of like good to place at the end of the thing and just kind of like, the last note to leave it with. But yeah, those were standouts for me.
I have one more standout, but it's for a different reason. So it's actually Hotbox, and it stands out because as the first song on the album, I feel like he took a really huge risk because I don't know if you picked it up, but he sampled Pharrell Williams' Frontin'. So I noticed that straight away. I was like, wait, like this sounds real familiar. So I played Frontin', I was like, oh, he did. And I looked it up, I researched it. So I think to start off with something really big like that off the gate is a big thing. So it's not really a negative. I think it's just like I noticed this, interesting kind of thing. But it does make me want to go into my cons. And I'm going to start us off.
Okay.
So I have only two cons, but I feel like the first one is this album kind of proved to me, I don't know, and I don't want to sound mean, but it proved to me that like Lil Nas X doesn't have a central sound, and like this far into his career as well. And like, he's still trying to find it, and it's not a bad thing, but it's just hard for me to look past. I feel like within the project, I hear a lot of inspo he's taken from other artists. And yeah, and then that kind of goes on to my second con, which is there's no consistency there. I feel like each song was like completely different, and the themes were everything was like, I don't know, I feel like there wasn't anything central kind of tying it together. The sounds are different. It was all very different. Picking them up one by one, I was kind of like, I vibe, but as a project, I didn't see it blending and meshing together, and it was just all over the place for me, unfortunately. I want to know like who he is and what his sound is without him trying to kind of like replicate really popular sounds that he's heard. So those are my cons. What about you?
Similarly as well, like I think, it's very obvious that he's trying to do a lot of things and just trying to like throw at the wall and see what sticks. And I think that when someone does that, you have to question what their artistry really is. So I feel like, that kind of like when you look at Lil Nas X as like an artist, I think it kind of compromises something for me.
Yeah.
I think maybe, and also like, I know that he's not a deep rapper.
Yeah.
I know he's not here to talk about the state of the world.
No, like he's
or
not no
anything.
Jaden Smith. Like
And
it's
it's
okay.
totally fine, but I think some of the lyricism is repetitive throughout the project. I think like he says one thing on another song, you hear it again, and I think after a while, like I'm like, okay,
like I heard this. I know.
I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think again, like some more variety in his writing would be really good, and I think could like open up a whole new door, in terms of like the kind of fans that he could bring in. But yeah, that's cons for me.
Okay. T noted. Well, we're pretty much at the end. We're gonna give our final ratings in case you don't know how they go. We have 3 tiers. We can either be here for this. We can depend on the day if we're here for this or not. And then at the kind of bottom, we're feeling iffy. And I'm gonna start. I'm feeling iffy about this. I think we saw that coming. I say this because it's an album that I will definitely be picking a few faves from.
Mm.
Um, instead of listening to the full thing. But and like I don't hate it. Like I need to like really preface it. Like I don't hate this album, and it's something that I genuinely expected from Lil Nas X. But I just want to see some consistency. I actually started with It Depends on the Day. When like first two songs, I was like, okay, like I'm lucky here, depends on the day. But as it continued, it went like down in production for me.
Mm.
And I just, as I said, I couldn't find a central point. And yeah, like I was just trying to figure out where he was going with the project. The context you gave at the beginning though kind of helps a
Mm.
lot more in understanding and I guess like the law. And I'm gonna deep dive into that and I should have done my research. I'm sorry, that's why she's here. But yeah, I just feel like I feel like it. Whatever I'm gonna say, I just feel like he's trying to gain a lot more relevance and popularity that he once had.
Yep.
But I just feel like it's not working, and I'm sorry to say this, Mr. Nas X, but I don't know how many more times what is gonna allow you to give us a banger. Like you, time's of the essence.
Mm.
But yeah, once again, there are songs that I've playlisted that I've loved, but it ain't gonna cut it as a whole project.
Fair. Yeah, I think those are all really fair points. I do kind of agree as well. I think for me, it sits in between depends on the day and feeling iffy, just because like I can chuck this on. It's sort of easy listening for me because I don't have to really pay attention that much. You know, it's something that I can listen to, like you said at the beginning, like getting ready or, you know, kind of like hype me up a little bit. And but it's like I'm not gonna always feel that way. So it has its time and place in my life. And then also, yeah, feeling iffy just because I'm not too sure who Lil Nas X is. I'm not too sure what
Yeah.
he's trying to say with it. I'm not sure if he's trying to say anything with it. And I feel a bit iffy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
that's
that's
me.
okay. We want to know how you feel. Please let us know. Comment down below. Are you here for this or are you feeling iffy? Does it depend on the day? Let us know. I am Ifoma, aka Iffy,
I am Del, aka Smelly Del.
and we just reviewed Lil Nas X's Days Before Dreamboy. Bye.